Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here.
Fantastic dancing.
People. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter. You matter. And I am fighting for you. And I will not stop. I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here.
Fucking nutcase. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking nutcase. Alright. What's up, Flat Earth? Gonna check out Flat Earth Dave.
Flat Earth Kush. That was retarded. Flat Earth Kush. Hey now, Vince.
There is no edit in that shit. Do you know that? No edit at all. That's real life. That shit is real life, man. That's gonna be the intro from now on. Yeah, it's gonna be the intro. So we're gonna check out Flat Earth Dave on Two Posh podcast.
Of a flat earth, you know.
So it was very interesting because we started making little clips and putting them on our TikTok, and we have had quite a interesting people, and I always answer all the comments, and I found myself nonstop trying to defend you. And then I thought, well, what would be better than having you back and answer some of these critics' comments? And
that'd be great. On TikTok, you have different types of people. You have people that have never heard of flat Earth and think that they think the Earth is a globe and are asking legitimate questions. Then you have what we call the anti-flat Earthers. These are people that are either paid or possessed to go out there and put as much confusion out there and as much nonsense, and to get people to get frustrated and quit. Because they don't want you looking over here. Look over there. Aliens coming from outer space. You look over there. War. Don't look where you live. All right.
Yep. I mean, it's been crazy because the comments have been on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. And there was somewhere I was like, I literally said, I'm going to ask him to come back so he can answer these personally. So I thought we'll get you some to answer, and then if you want to discuss anything else that's important about all these subjects, you are welcome to do so as well.
I just want to say for the people that are listening now, if you think flat Earth is crazy, I did also. We all did. Every flat earther has the same story, right? Oh my, flat Earth, a disc floating in space. Well, we're not a disc floating in space. Everyone knows it's a globe. The Greeks figured it out. There's so much proof. Boats over the horizon, seasons. I can't see Paris from New York, and all of this has been programmed into our minds. And when you actually look at it and think about it and actually apply science to the idea of seeing stars quadrillions of miles away, none of it holds up. And then once you see it, along the journey, you're going to throw up your hands and go, well, what difference does it make? It makes all the difference in the world. Not knowing where you are, not knowing your true power, not knowing that you're at the center of creation, not knowing that nobody has control over you other than in your imagination, matters. Hidden technology, hidden food, hidden land, everything, it all matters. So I just encourage people, if you Google flat Earth, they're going to feed you what they want you to say. They're going to feed you nonsense. And the best place to find all the information is at flatearthdave.com. You can find everything there, right? But Google won't serve it to you. So let's go. Let's answer some questions and see what we can do.
Okay. You want to start, Gino?
I've got one for you here, Dave. All right. This is from Globe Stripe Back.
Oh,
They're
boy.
they're
The
striking back
biggest
at you.
shill out there. The
I know
biggest shill
them.
out there. Go ahead. Hit me.
All right. So you flat earthers speak of flights. It's hilarious to begin with. They rely on navigation systems based on Earth being a sphere, use geodatic datum to collect distance and heading. On top of that, he is just being dishonest and cherry picking the connection flight on purpose, ignoring the direct one. Winky face.
Listen, I will just say this. I made a stream with Flat Earth Dave. He is himself, If you think this guy, Flat Earth Dave, is dishonest, your measurement on what is honest or dishonest sucks balls, man. You know what I mean? Like, what are the indications that somebody is authentic? You look at how they behave in different situations, right? Look at Flat Earth Dave. He is practically the same wherever he is. That is an indication that somebody is themselves, that they're not putting on an act. Because you can't put on an act all the time. You know what I mean? Anyways.
Tongue out.
Yeah. So this guy, literally, his whole life is dedicated to going out there and throwing out nonsense. If you think about it, we live on a ball. You should have an X, Y, and a Z axis, but we go with a latitude and longitude, 2 X and Y. That's a flat plane, right?
Interesting. Hold on. Let me take that back.
Latitude and longitude. You should have an X, Y, and a Z axis, but we go with a latitude and longitude, 2 X and Y.
Yes, exactly. Because, you're traveling forward. Why is it only 2 axes?
But we go with a latitude and
Bitchy
longitude,
balls.
2 X and
Honestly,
Y.
the Earth
That's
isn't
a
flat, it's square.
Well, that is flat, Biggie Balls. That is flat. Listen, nobody's saying it's flat. They're saying it's a plane. Of course, it's not like a pancake. But it ain't no fucking ball. That's the biggest bullshit I've ever heard since Santa Claus, man. This is the biggest bullshit I've heard since Santa Claus.
Plane, right? Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. And now there's tons. I think he's referring to some of the long flights. I think we talked about the Santiago to Australia flight. And let me just pull up a couple things, because there's a thing that happens. They always make excuses for these flights, saying, that's just the route the plane has to go because they have to pick up other passengers. That's where their hub is. And that's not true at all. Quick example, we just had the World Cup. And they left the World Cup and they flew over to Rome to get fuel before they flew to Buenos Aires. Now, Buenos Aires is about the same distance from Doha, where they started from, and the same distance from Rome. Why did they fly away, right? But when you look at it on a flat Earth map, Doha, Rome is right on the straight line to Buenos Aires. Well, they can't pick up fuel in the middle of the ocean, so they have to stop here, get some fuel, and make that nice long trip. But I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm just going to hit one or two real quick. There's a thing called emergency landings, right? Emergency landings throw all things off kilter. So there was a flight from New York. This was just recently to Auckland, New Zealand, and it was I don't know the distance. It was approaching New Zealand, and somebody had a heart attack or a baby or whatever. There's an emergency. They had to land, and they landed in Fiji, which was like 1,000+ miles away, and they got there in like 15 minutes. Okay, how did they travel 1,000 miles in 15 minutes? Right? But when you look at it on a flat Earth map, again, Fiji is directly on the straight line. Here's a zoom in. So they were literally right here. Emergency, bam, they just landed, right? They didn't go out of their way. They didn't go all the way over here. And it always works that way on a flat Earth, right? And just one more, because this will freak everybody out.
I remember a flight to from Sweden to what was it? Greece. And it was something like, I don't remember exactly, but it was like 4 hours and 4.5 hours to get to Greece. But then to get back, it was like 3 hours and 40 minutes or something. I was like, how the fuck? What are they doing? Putting on more gas? You know? Are they speeding back?
The one where a family was traveling from Hong Kong, and they were going all the way back to Europe, but they landed in Germany because it's a 12-hour flight. 4 hours into the flight, the mother died. Little kids, husband, they're all sitting together. Mother's dead in her chair. They can't revive her. She's dead. Okay? So they flew for 8 more hours, and they didn't land, right? There are countless airports they could have landed at along this flight route that they told us that they were taking. But when you look at it on a flat Earth map, we find out why they didn't land.
NGL, you should watch All Tomorrows. It's very interesting.
What does NGL stand for? Dude, I'm a caveman. I don't know that much about the internet language. What is NGL? You should watch All Tomorrows. What the fuck is All Tomorrows? You're talking to a caveman, man.
Over Russia.
Fiji balls.
2 things would happen if they...
Not gonna lie.
Not gonna lie. Okay, not gonna lie. You should watch All Tomorrows. Is that a TV show or what?
Landed in Russia.
What?
Russia would be the good guys. They'd be, oh, let us help. Of course, Russia. The division between countries is all a freaking put up. And the other thing is, people would say, what the hell are we doing flying over Russia? Well, Russia is on a straight line. This is where they went. They ended up landing here. At that point, 8 hours sitting next to your dead mom. They might as well just gotten them home to London.
It's a book, but you should watch a summary on it. Shako Ismay has donated $10.
Oh, thank you, Shako Ismay. Appreciate that. What was that? On Twitch? Where is that? It's a book, but you should watch a summary on it. Yeah, I don't read books. I'm one of those who I understand books are really good. You know what I mean? It's a different way of taking in information. I totally get that. It's just that, I can read shit on the internet, but there's something with books that, you know what I mean? Like my wife reads books. She really likes that. But I just can't do it for a long time. You know what I mean? And it's not that I don't have attention span. Don't put me in that category. I do have attention span. It's just that books has never been my thing. You know what I mean? So is there a thing on that? A movie or a series or what?
So there's tons of these. There's a book called 16 Emergency Landings That Prove Flat Earth. There's a free PDF online, or you can find it on my website, flatearthdave.com. If you want the book, it's amazing. And there's 16 of these landings that 100% prove the globe to be a lie. All right, I'll try to keep my answers a little shorter because I'm sure you have a lot of questions.
No, go ahead. Estella, do you have one?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought
Chris?
you were next.
I'm still in awe how like most of our listeners are kind of agreeing with you on YouTube. I'm checking it out, and
That's funny, huh? Isn't it funny? How there is so many flat earthers now. It's crazy. The dude is surprised.
I'm still in awe how like most of our listeners are kind of agreeing with you on YouTube. I'm
Bidgie
checking
balls.
it out, and
Well,
Are
you
we-
can find a summary of YouTube.
You mean on YouTube? But what is it about, man?
Live on YouTube?
We're not live.
Oh, okay.
but we are on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was checking it out,
Okay.
and
Bidgie balls.
there's only about
On.
30 comments, but a lot of them are for it. But there is somebody, John Bailey, that says
And you know, this is what many people are
Bidgie
worried
balls. It's like aliens and humans.
about. Okay. So what? Like a hybrid? You know, I think they might be pulling off the alien hoax. You know what I mean? They might be doing an alien hoax soon. Because we're expecting another COVID, you know what I mean? And maybe they want us to think, maybe they want us to look after another COVID, but really they're going to surprise us with the alien invasion and then do a one world government. You know, me and my wife, we started to watch the old series Visitors, V. You know, V, the Visitors from the 80s. Man, a lot of what's happening in that series is like what happened during COVID.
Bidgie balls. If I may be honest, I have aliens in my basement.
Yeah, I don't believe you. You're not being honest, man.
he's a curve buster. And he says
A
that there-
curve buster.
Yeah, so he says that there's a $10,000 challenge on Facebook. Search
Oh boy.
where is the curve? Where's the curve?
Okay. Well, there is no curve. I mean, maybe this guy. I'm not sure who he's coming from. I say prove flat Earth, prove the curve, and you'll prove the globe. But there is no curve, and we can prove it. And you're wondering why there's so many comments. Look, this is just near me. These are probably less than 1% of the flat earthers. Okay, I'm showing you my app. It's called the Friend Finder. Let me just show you a quick worldview. Where are you guys?
Bidgie
You're in
balls.
Texas, right?
Yes.
I named one Hector and the other one Sir Bingus.
Cool.
Okay.
What do you
let's
think,
just
they're
go. I
pets?
can't even see Texas because it's buried. Okay. Look at all of these people. There, I would say 1% of the people that know about flat Earth have my app, and not all of them are blue dots on here because they haven't gone into the Friend Finder and created a username. So this is the fastest growing truth that has ever hit our world, and it is the most dangerous to the control system. So expect some turbulence in the near future. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you want to talk about the Nile River? How it goes 4,000 miles north, flowing. How that works?
Yeah,
on a
well, so
curved
it's
Earth?
going. Yeah, so think about this. The mouth of the river is 4,000 miles. The amount of curvature is ridiculous. Okay, and you have to believe that water is going to flow.
Bidgie balls.
How the heck does it go
So
down?
are you a
And
huge conspiracy kind of guy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not shamed at all. Listen, that doesn't mean that I believe in all conspiracies, because believe you me, it will be a lot of bullshit in there. Some might even be installed by the conspirators. Yes. You know, how do you discredit something? You know, you throw in a bunch of nonsense so that people who are not into stuff like that, when they see your nonsense conspiracy, they're like, oh, what is this? People who believe in conspiracies are crazy. So there are absolutely bullshit ones out there, but there are absolute truth ones. You know what I mean? Absolute truthy ones. The biggest of them all is that there is a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. I mean, it is a conspiracy. It's a truth. I will call it. There is an absolute truth that there is an elite that wants to enslave the whole human race, and that is what they're working towards right now. They did a test run during COVID to see where they're at, to see how, where they're at with the people. So that one is huge. Like, if you don't believe that one by now,
Bidgie balls. Honestly, I believe that.
Well, if you don't, I don't know where your head's at. You know what I mean? Because especially after COVID, you can't deny that there is something going on regarding that. And now they're doing the climate thing to further enslave you, to say where you can go, what you can eat, shit like that. And they want to install a new currency, bank currency, CBDC it's called, which is completely electronically programmed money. So they can say you get $1,000, but you can only buy socks with it. Not that they will ever say socks, but you can only buy socks, and you have to the 15th to buy it. Otherwise, those money is disappearing. You know what I mean? Shit like that. It's all about control, man. They don't give a fuck about you or me. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck about nobody but themselves or whatever. They have an agenda. So, yeah. And also, conspiracy people have been getting a lot of credibility, especially after the last 3 years. Period.
They say the spin of the Earth.
Period.
The Earth bulges 14 miles high at the equator, right? Somebody recently did a calculation that the mouth of the Mississippi, just the Mississippi,
Fidgy balls.
should be higher because...
Yeah, honestly, I believe a conspiracy that they're trying to force you to have electric cars so they can control your car.
Exactly. That too. That's part of it. You know, they're blaming the environment. We need to get rid of the, what I would call the analog cars. I like to call them analog cars because it's like analog and digital recording. The analog cars, you just pour some fluid in them and you go, These ones, first of all, to recharge one of those fuckers, you know what I mean? To recharge one of those fuckers, it's going to take hours. And then if everybody wants to recharge at the same time, it's going to be a huge line. What are you going to camp outside just to go to another city or something? You know what I mean? But yes, exactly what you said. It's about control. They want to be able to do whatever with your car, You know what I mean? They can even, when they're self-drivable, they can lock you in, drive you to a hidden location, and that's that. Bye-bye. You know what I mean? Or they can make your car drive into a cliff.
Flatirthkush. What happens when grid down with a cars? LOL.
That would be nice. Yeah, but you know what I mean? They're like, I don't like Biggie Balls or Flat Earth Kush or Shakozy me. They're like, I don't like them. Let me see, what car do they own? Okay, let me just see, what product number was it? Okay, let me just hack into that car. Oh, he's driving it right now. Good. Okay, I see him on the map. Okay. Override his controls. And you're dead. And that's it. That's that. How easy was that? And then a detective will come. Oh, it seemed like it malfunctioned. Okay. Okay. Nobody gets the blame. The car malfunctioned. You're dead. Life goes on. You know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here with environment. Fuck you. The whole thing is bullshit. You just need some excuse to enslave the whole human race under. Because
Fidgy balls. This is probably gonna sound dumb, but I think the elites are being told to do stuff by a higher being, but that's just me.
No, I don't think it's dumb at all. I actually believe that. And I actually believe that higher power is Satan. I do believe that. Because, humans come and goes. Comes and goes. But some entity, they don't come and go. Some entity like Satan probably has been here the whole time. You know what I mean?
Flatirthkush.
Got all the time in the world.
100%.
Exactly. Got all the time in the world, man. Because people always think like, well, I mean, these elites, they're going to die off. So why are they planning for so long? Exactly. Why are they planning shit for so long? Probably because it's not them doing, it's not them responsible for the plans. Probably these entities or this entity, whatever. And this entity can wait, can wait a long time before it's catching its prey,
Because of that bulge, than the beginning of the Mississippi. Right?
And I believe the ultimate goal is to catch your soul. Really, to catch your soul. You know what I mean? Just like the religion saying that Satan wants your soul. How you gonna get your soul? You have to connect yourself into a fucking computer. Yeah, you have to connect your brain into a computer, and they're gonna keep you there inside of that virtual world. Take over your soul. Something like that. That is the end goal, I believe. Fuck that, man. I'm gonna leave this virtual reality, go to another one. You know what I mean? We are immortal souls.
The mouth is the end of the river, right? The beginning and the mouth is where it comes out.
Marcelo
so
would
it should
know.
be higher. It makes absolutely no sense. On a flat Earth, it just goes from higher land to lower land. That's it. I mean, long rivers prove that we're not on a spinning globe. I mean, there's a million things that prove we're not on a spinning globe. And once you actually look at them and break the lifelong programming that we've had, then
Hold on. It just reminded me of something regarding the gravity. There is this ride called Zero Gravity. Okay? Ride. This one. You go inside and you stand against the wall. And then it spins and you get sucked into the walls, right? Thing is this. You don't get sucked into any fucking center of gravity. Huh? You don't get sucked into the center. You get sucked to the outside. Like if you were outside of this ride, you would have just been thrown out. You know what I mean? If you were on the outside wall of this spin, you would not be sucked into the wall. You would be thrown out. Now, do that same thing with this bullshit ball. We are on the outside of the ball. We would be thrown out into space. This would, it would work if we were inside the ball. If we were inside the Earth, then yeah, we would be stuck to the walls of the inside of the Earth. You see what I'm saying? It's absolute bullshit. The whole center of gravity, you can shove it up your ass, man. Shove it up your ass. It's an absolute bullshit story. Big ass bullshit story, man.
And then you'll see it. Then you'll see it.
What would
And
be the
here's thing.
point of the lie?
Why the lie?
A lot of
That's
points
what
with
everyone
the
asks.
lie.
Why the lie? And the lie is because everything, and I mean everything you were taught in school is a lie. Everything. Our history, the Wild West, no. The world was way more advanced in the 1800s than it is now. They have us dumbed down. They have us believing nonsense. They have put our minds in a prison, and that prison is the heliocentric ball.
Yeah, and they've taught us that the pyramids was built by a bunch of slaves that had a bunch of logs. They put a log under a big ass 10-ton stone. Yeah, a log is gonna do that for you. You go. How the fuck do you even put the log under the rock? And then what are you gonna do? Like throw it up to the pyramid? They're laughing at us. The elites are laughing at us.
So what do I mean by that? So if you look at the world, and we are in what I call the Antarctic basin, right? So this is our world. It's a giant pond, the shoreline of our world. You need a shoreline on a pond. You need a shoreline on a lake, otherwise the water will flow away, right? Not on a ball, just on a lake. All water at rest lies flat, okay? All water lies flat, right? Water at rest lies flat, period. And the Globers will try to show you a drop of water. Anything bigger than a gallon of water, okay? That's all. That's it. And the oceans are certainly bigger than that. So if this is our world, what's out here in these outer lands? What's out here? Well, it's off limits. We're not allowed to go there. So imagine this: cut out this map of the world and cut it out between the white and the green there, and then we're going to take it and we're going to wrap it around a ball. Okay, we're going to wrap it around a sphere. And when you wrap it around a sphere,
I love this
what happens?
animation.
You literally have shut people off from creation. You make them think that they live on a sphere floating in infinite space. So they can't even get their imagination out there. If they want to go beyond Antarctica, well, there is no beyond Antarctica. The only beyond is outer space. Outer space is scientifically impossible. Okay, you can't have a lumpy rock with smooth curved water with curved air adjacent to a void, adjacent to a vacuum. Scientifically impossible when you use your common sense, right? And so then they want us believing in aliens. All the news now, aliens, UFOs coming from ridiculous, incomprehensible distances. No. They're not coming from incomprehensible distances. I think they're very, very close. Let me show you one thing, and I'll let you get back to the questions. Right?
Also, another point on the alien thing. I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, watching The Visitors, the 80s series about aliens coming to Earth. There is, if you imagine aliens coming from this endless space that is endless, it's that huge. And if they come through light years and shit, and they come to Earth, your fear of them would be way more than if you knew that they came from the same plane as you. Because if you think about aliens coming from outer lands that we are not aware of, just like this map, yes, it could be scary, or it would be scary, but it wouldn't be, your respect level for them would not be the same as if they came from light years away. They must be some magical fucking beings coming from light years away. But if they are coming from over there, it's not the same. It's not the same amount of fear. There will still be fear, but you might think that you can beat them, you know what I mean? If they come from the same plane as you, as opposed to coming from galaxies of, you know what I mean? Oh shit, bow down, these are fucking gods. That's what I think. So when they're gonna play their fake alien invasion, people are gonna be like, oh shit, we better do everything they say. Or whatever.
Did I show you this map last time? This map was a map that was discovered in a Buddhist temple, 10 centuries old. It was published in 1910 in a Hawaiian newspaper. And it shows, here we are, and it shows all of these other lands out here. Now, Admiral Byrd, when he did Project High Jump out in Antarctica, he said he found lands bigger than the United States that no human has ever seen. On a ball, where are you going to put another United States beyond Antarctica, right? If you go beyond Antarctica, you're coming up the other side towards Australia or wherever. Okay, makes no sense. So we then went and we found we went on a there's cargo shipping tracking websites, and we found. We were looking at one and we saw a bunch of ships hundreds of miles, 400 or 500 miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica. Wait a minute. How does a cargo ship get inside 400, 500 miles inside the shoreline of Antarctica? Right? Well, so you click on any of these vessels and you'll find all the information, the cargo, where they're going, the captain's name, everything. You click on one of these. The only thing we found was the length of the ship is gigantic ship, 580 meters wide, 580 meters long.
If you think about it, they have enslaved, they have jailed us in two ways. First, they've jailed us being, stuck on this limited ball. That's jail number one. And, you can't go anywhere, light years, blah, 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 blah. NASA, when they try the rockets, half of the time they explode and shit like that. Even Elon Musk can't do it, Anyways, they jail you with that. And then they jail you on the continents themselves. Like, you can't go wherever you want. Like, you know what I mean? You're limited on the continents. Like, those who want to go to Antarctica, they can't. You know, there is this video of people being on a private boat trying to go towards the south, wherever that is. And the military says, back off, go back. So we're jailed in two ways, you know? We're like zoo animals, but with much bigger land. You know what I mean? Much bigger lands and a lot of distractions. You know what I mean? A lot of distractions. But we're zoo animals, straight up.
Long and like, 80 meters wide or something like that, right around there. Gigantic ship, right? And that's all it said, other than it was registered on the nation of
Bitchy
Kiribati.
balls.
You ever hear it? Kiribati?
Yeah, I heard that they'll use drones to portray a false god to control us.
Yeah, who was it who said? I don't remember who said this, but they will use a thing called Project Blue Beam, which is basically doing holograms right in your reality. Like,
Play
it looks,
Kush. 2024 fake alien invasion.
yeah, 2024. I heard that too. I've heard that in several places. That 2024 is when they're gonna do it, which is 6 months from now, a year tops. But I heard that they're gonna do those fake hologram things, but they're gonna use military airplane as well, military craft to actually,
yep,
to actually damage stuff, so it looks like the holograms are doing the damage, like the aliens are doing the damage, but really it's the military or whatever doing the real damage, but it looks like, oh shit, it's the holograms. So it makes it even more real. So you can't deny, like, oh shit, that thing just destroyed that thing, even though that thing is a hologram.
Bitchy balls.
But the missile is real.
Yeah, holograms, they've already done it with concerts with Tupac.
Yeah, but that one didn't look so good, the Tupac one. Because I believe they used a CGI thing and it didn't look, looked a little bit cartoony. But the hologram itself, the technology itself probably was good. But they were projecting a CGI character that looked like something out of PS4 or something, you know what I mean? But this shit will look really good. Like, dude, listen. If the video games we're seeing right now are almost exactly like reality, think about what they have behind the curtain. You know what I mean? Think about what they're not releasing to us. You know? They probably had PS4 back in the 80s, man. Behind the curtains that we didn't know about, you know? We don't know what they got, you know? They release shit to us because they want us to see whatever technology that we see. But yeah, that's probably... And listen, I think the majority is gonna eat this alien invasion up. Fuck, they believe the fucking
Kush.
cold.
Supposedly you can feel these holograms.
Feel? How? They believe the fucking cold was killing everybody. You don't think they're gonna believe fake aliens? We're fucked, man. They're screwed.
No.
So here is where Kiribati is.
That's why I'm watching the 80s series Visitors, the V. I don't know what it's called. V? Visitors? You know, they're like reptilian under the skin. I'm watching it because I want to see maybe how they're thinking, because they do put the things in the movies, you know what I mean? And that shit is close to what we went through during COVID. Quarantine and shit like that, curfew, you can't go out, the aliens, you know, the soldiers are out, you know, on the streets and shit, and they take the dissenters and store them, just like the Matrix, for food for them. Fuck, I don't know.
Middle of the South Pacific, in the middle of nowhere. You can't even see it. I had to put a pin on it so you can see it. I'll zoom in. The only way you can find it. You got to like zoom way in, and all of a sudden you'll see a friggin' sandbar. Right, the United States, China, they're very interested in this sandbar. They say it's a very important trade route. Right, this little island. China gave them $10 billion recently. $10 billion to these sand people. Okay, because it's an important trade route.
And
so here's what I suggest. Right, so go back to this map and we look forward here. Whoops, well here. I think it's a trade route to the outer lands, right? To other civilizations, other people here on flat Earth, not aliens from outer space, scientifically impossible, extraterrestrials from the extra terra beyond Antarctica. There's millions.
Exactly. Why don't you call it outer terrestrials? If you're going to make it like space. Outer terrestrial, not extra. Extra implies that here, right here. Just extra. You know, you're here on this land, and over there is extra land. Extra. You know? Outer is more correct. Outer terrestrials. Outer terrestrials. You know? Extraterrestrials, you're talking about right here, man. That's what you're talking about, extraterrestrials. You see, they're putting this shit in our face, but making us believe they mean outer terrestrials. Motherfucker.
Flatirthkush. https://www.popsci.com/technology/touch-holograms-physics. Flatirthkush. Holograms you can feel.
The TV show Star Trek The Next Generation introduced millions of people to the idea of a holodeck, an immersive, realistic 3D holographic projection of a complete environment that you could interact with and even touch. In the 21st century, holograms are already being used in a variety of ways, such as medical systems, education, art, security, and defense. Scientists are still developing ways to use lasers, modern digital processors, and motion sensing technologies to create several different types of holograms, which could change the way we interact. My colleagues and I are working in the electronics. People using arrow haptics, creating feelings of touch with jets of air. Those jets of air deliver a sensation of touch on people's fingers, hands, and wrists. In time, this could be developed to allow you to meet a virtual avatar of a colleague on the other side of the world and really feel their handshake.
Flatirthkush. So if they are telling us that, imagine what they have.
Yeah. In some ways, it's a step beyond the current generation of virtual reality, which usually requires a headset to deliver 3D graphics and smart gloves, or handheld controllers to provide haptic feedback, a stimulation that feels like touch. Most of the wearable gadgets based approaches are limited to controlling the virtual object that is being displayed. Controlling a virtual object doesn't give the feeling that you would experience when two people touch. The addition of an artificial touch sensation can deliver the additional dimension without having to wear gloves to feel objects. What the fuck is this? Using glass and mirrors, smells of the future. Unity gaming engine. The objects are graphics created and controlled by Unity. I mean, can this reality become any less like a virtual reality? It's all fucking virtual, man. It's all ones and zeros.
millions.
Crazy,
There's
man.
lots of books, lots of ancient stories, lots of stuff about lands beyond Antarctica.
But ultimately, I think they're gonna straight up connect your brain into a computer. Whatever you need to, like, they will connect your sense of smell from the brain. I don't know how the fuck that will work, but smell and touch. Connect, like, remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the old 80s cartoon? There was this little brain in a machine. That's gonna be us. They're gonna take our brain, connect it into a virtual reality, and that will be your world. Maybe it already works like that. You know what I mean? Somehow, right now. Fuck, who knows? But one indication that I have thought about is how would you know that you're living in a virtual reality? I would say the only way to figure out is if you can see errors. Like when you play a video game. Let's say you would put on a headset and it looks really good. But then you see a character, his hand goes through the wall or some shit like that. Or you will see some weird bug. Then that takes you out of the realism. You're like, oh, yeah, this is a video game still. But if you were in that reality and there was no errors or no bugs, then you would believe it. Just like our reality. We don't see any bugs or errors in our virtual reality, therefore we believe it. But if we saw a bunch of weird ass bugs.
Not gonna lie, I think I am a hop off. My eyes are starting to hurt.
Okay. You probably on a different time zone. Yeah, I'm in Sweden. I don't know where you at, Big Balls. But cool to have you, Big Balls. Funny name. Yeah. So our reality is probably a virtual reality, but we think it's real because we don't see any bugs. Not actual bugs eat the bugs, but computer bugs.
Right? This makes sense. If you believe in aliens coming here and modifying man or populating the earth or interfering or giving us technology, that's insane. Just take those aliens, use the word extraterrestrial, put them on the extraterra beyond Antarctica, and they're extraterrestrials here on Earth, scientifically possible. All right? So just one other, we have some people poking around, and on that island, Kiribati, they have the Captain Cook Hotel. Captain Cook is famous for his trip around Antarctica that he went 60,000.
Who the fuck lives on this little small-ass island in the middle of nowhere in the ocean? Who the fuck lives over there?
Miles around Antarctica. Wait a minute. The equator, whoops, fall down. The equator is only 24,000 miles around. How the heck did he go 60,000 miles around here? And that's because this is not where you live. You don't live on a ball. You live on a flat plane. And there's a lot we don't know about this flat plane. But the absolute thing that all people that are looking into this agree 100%, we don't live on a ball flying through an infinite space vacuum. It's ridiculous.
David, I have a question for you real quick.
Go.
Is there anywhere like numbers of how many people believe in flat Earth, how many people believe in globe, and ever since people started looking into it, like flat earthers have, like you have now changed their mind? Is there numbers anywhere?
The numbers are insane. They're changing from the time you started asking that question to the time you finished that question. It's growing so fast. It's incomprehensible right now, and it's increasing speed, even with all of the censorship. Think about this. Google is hiding all the information. You Google the exact name of one of my videos, or even one of the most popular videos, A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions, and they're going to feed you nonsense. Well, wait a minute. That's not what I Googled. Why are they feeding me that, right? And if you trust Google, truth might not be for you. Okay, so So the number a couple years ago, they did a survey in Brazil, just Brazil, all right? And they said about the shape of the Earth, and over 10 million people said they don't think it's a globe. Okay. Now you don't have to say I'm a flat earther because this world.
That's huge. 10 million. Because those 10 million are gonna talk to a bunch of other millions of people. Eventually, those 10 million will say, yeah, I don't believe in the bullshit ball. And then the ballers that they know will say, what? What the fuck? Why? What? Why? And then they will show them why. They will show them why they don't believe in the bullshit ball. And if you just hear them out, you will eventually also be a flat earther. It's just a matter of time, man. This is like a ticking, This is a TikTok. Like I've seen on Twitter too. There some people do like polls, and the flat earthers win the polls, The comment sections. Things are changing, man. Now, if you're a baller, people's like, oh, man, you're not completely awake. Yeah, you might know about, the Koof 19 being, and shit like that, 9/11, blah, blah, blah. But you still believe the ball? You're not awakened. You're not awake yet.
This realm where we could be on a dielectric plane in the middle of a toroidal field. And that might be hard to describe as flat, but yes, it's a level plane. Level, flat is not a shape. It's a description of level and horizontal, right? Down is down for me. Down is down for you. Down is down for people in Australia. And they want us to believe, in complete and total nonsense, right? So, I was going to show you. I was trying to pull up a graphic without screwing up, but I can't find it. So, go ahead. Go to the next thing.
Okay, so this was a couple of people commenting on that. If my pilot tells me the Earth is flat, I'm catching another flight. That was one. Pilot.
So that's because they think that they have first, people that say that, they're not shills or anything like that. They just are fully indoctrinated. They think they have no idea what their own model is. They don't realize that in their model, if the Earth was a globe, I would never get on an airplane. They don't realize that in their model, they are. If I could find my, there we go. That they're spiraling in 4 different directions through space, right? The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour, chase the sun at over 500,000 miles an hour, while that entire system is.
Don't forget about the tilt, Flat Earth Dave. While it's spinning, it's also doing this, slowly, while it's spinning, and then rotating the sun, and then the sun rotating, whatever. And then the universe rotates too. Everything is just a fucking confusion.
Going another direction. So you're on an airplane and you want to fly from North America down here while it's spinning, while it's spiraling, right? It's the craziest, scariest thing ever. Airplanes fly straight and level over an Earth plane. And by the way, we have videos coming out with so many pilot whistleblowers, but they all, oh my God, so many of them. It's actually, I think it's on the app. It'll be the featured video on the app this week, I think.
I mean, look at that. How ridiculous does that look? It looks like the sun and the planet or whatever, they're all in the same team, just traveling somewhere together. Looks absolutely ridiculous. And they needed to come up with the bullshit Big Bang theory to explain why everything is spinning and traveling and shit. So they came up with the most ridiculous explanation to why we even exist.
This coming week. And there's tons where people ask these pilots. I was just on a flight coming back from Mexico. I was talking to the stewardesses up front. They were asking me about my trip and everything. And they asked what I do. And I told them what I do. And I said, well, I have an app. It teaches you about the Earth. And they go, you don't think the earth is flat because we do. And I was like, really? And they showed me their Facebook group of all of their stewardesses friends.
What?
And or flight attendant. I don't think I'm allowed to say stewardesses anymore.
Oh.
Their flight attendant girlfriends. And they talk about flat earth. They showed me all of their stuff that they're doing, posting videos and memes. They actually had one of my memes in there. And they said that they ask the pilots all the time, and most of the pilots say, I don't want to talk about it. They don't want to tell them, because if a pilot admits the earth is flat, they get grounded, they lose their license,
That's ridiculous. How the fuck can you lose your license for thinking that? That to me tells me, that alone tells me this whole thing is bullshit. Why are you so insecure? You need to fire somebody for not believing in such an obvious thing like the ball? That shows me it's a lie. Because if it was the truth, you wouldn't need to do shit like that. You would just laugh at that pilot. Oh, you crazy. And that's that. That's that. Fire them. Why? What are you so insecure about? You should not be insecure about something that is real, right? Like the ball, right? Fire somebody for not believing in that? And are they not allowed to believe that, whatever they want? You know what I mean? Tyrant.
They just lose their job. So there's tons. And now, on my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, if you go to the frequently asked questions, you'll see, what about pilots, right? Where is it? It says, are all space, no, it's all space agencies, are all pilots and scientists in on it? One of the buttons there is about pilots, and there's tons of stuff about pilots and scientists. So that's just that comment is from a point of ignorance. We were all ignorant at one point until we learned.
So that somebody said the KLM pilot is Lydia Oversloot, I guess. When you look her up in the FAA pilots database, you will find that she's licensed for single-engine planes over
That shit is so unbelievable.
The ball and the Big Bang, absolutely. The Big Bang is even more ridiculous, almost. You know what I mean? First, there was nothing. There was well, maybe it wasn't nothing. There was a little bulb of energy just waiting to explode.
Platirkush. Flying through space.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In the beginning, there was just a little point of energy. It was just sitting there. Yeah, waiting for an explosion to happen. Nobody knows what made the point of energy decide to explode. And how the fuck could that little point have the power to explode that much, by the way? But it did. It exploded hugely with such immense speeds. Crazy speeds, all directions. And then rocks came about. Yeah, a bunch of rocks and shit. Gas and rocks and blah, blah, blah. And then after a gazillion years, bacteria formed. Get the fuck out of here. That bullshit.
And only. I highly doubt that she was ever a commercial pilot for KLM. When you listen to her speaking about gyroscopes, it becomes quite obvious that she's clueless.
That's not who I'm talking about. There, under the pilots button, we have another one, a commercial airline pilot, and there's tons of pilots. I mean, it's absolutely insane to think that we could fly over a spinning ball. So let me show you. Where is it? So here is a flight. A pilot took this time lapse.
I love this.
They're going from Germany to South America. Now, if you're flying from Germany to South America, let me pause this. Okay, if you're flying from Germany to South America, so I got my map here. You're up here on top of the globe. Okay, whatever. You're up here in Germany, somewhere over here, and you're gonna fly. You have to fly down the globe. So when you're here, any stars that you see on the horizon should rise up and become to your zenith. When you go halfway down the globe, a star on the horizon should be a star.
Yeah, just like a video game. When you're traveling around the ball, you will see the stars, scrolling above you, like, because you're going around the ball. That shit ain't happening here. There is no scrolling stars above your head. It's just a fucking traveling on a flat plane, man.
At your zenith. But here's the time lapse, and these stars never went up. He's flying over. This is a really super fast time lapse. This is what they should see. This is an animation. This is what the globe dictates in an animation. So as you're going, all of these stars would be rising up as you're flying over because your perspective to the stars. But in reality, that's not what happens. In reality, we get this. Reality shows you that we're on a flat, level, horizontal Earth.
Somebody asked, do flat earthers believe there are other planets? If so, are those planets flat or round?
Planets.
Why hasn't anyone gone to the ice wall and documented it?
Well, the second part of that question, why hasn't anyone gone to the ice wall and documented it, is absolutely ridiculous because there's tons of documentation of it. Now, it's not a wall like the Game of Thrones. It's not anything like that. It's the shoreline of Antarctica. There's tons of pictures. There's tons of videos of the ice wall, if you will. It's not a wall. It's literally the shoreline of Antarctica, where most of the shoreline is, a 200-foot high cliff. So they want you to believe that this is the ice wall. This is the end of the Earth, but this is the shoreline of Antarctica right here. This is reality. Okay, and that's the higher land that keeps the waters in. That's it.
And then about the other planets, are those real or are those round if they are?
Yeah. So other planets, like for example, Mars. We're told that Elon Musk tells us, shows us these pictures. NASA and Disney show us pictures, and Werner von Braun. He's the Nazi scientist that was brought over to run NASA, and he wrote a book in 1957 about a group of people that went to Mars, and the leader of that group was named Elon. That's weird. Okay, is that some sort of mind spell, wicked programming? I don't know, but it's definitely not right. But if you look at Mars, our consumer optics have outgrown their lies. When you look at Mars through a simple Nikon P900 or P1000 camera or a simple telescope, you'll look and you see this pulsing orb of energy. Does that look like a rocky planet? Okay. Does that look like a rocky planet? Absolutely not. Right. And when you look at other planets, it's quite insane. And people see what they want to see. Okay. Right. So what planet would you say this is? What planet is that? Is that Venus? Is that Jupiter?
A frying
Is that
pan.
Mars?
A frying pan?
It's not a frying pan. Stop it. That's another photo I have.
Oh, sorry.
Is that Jupiter?
Who knows?
Or is that a meadow with ducks in it? Okay. The mind sees what the mind wants to see.
Wow.
Right. And NASA has this like big painting, and they paint it on spheres. We have tons of images from NASA studios right there adjacent to Disney studios, where they have camera tracks for these things. Right. NASA, we got this picture in 2014 of Jupiter. Oh my God, look how beautiful it is. You see the storm that
now
never
we got
ends.
some bullshit
and
on
these
top.
lines of clouds are going in opposite directions from a time lapse that they gave us from an alleged, space probe. But then 2 years later, they said, look, we saw the aurora, which proves that Jupiter has a magnetic core. Right. Look at this. I could have done this in MS Word, not even MS Paint. Okay. Right. And look at every single cloud is exactly the same. They just made it a little darker. Look at this cloud line, right? It's right there.
Yeah,
everything is that they're lazy, or their revelation of the
Made it
method.
more
They're showing
contrast
us, giving
on
us a fighting chance to wake up and see the truth. So
But
the
if you
answer
can
is
see other planets or whatever,
we can see we can see lights in the sky. Here's something.
That they're round.
And Jupiter, well, you think it's round. Jupiter is in the sky right now, okay, in the evening. So, and Jupiter is the easy way to spot it is just look at the path that the sun and the moon go. You'll see Jupiter. It's gigantic. It's the biggest, brightest star. It's as bright as the sun, but it's as small as a star, okay? And you look at it and you say, how the hell is that gas ball. Think about Jupiter. They tell us it's a dusty, dirty gas ball, right? And if you were on Jupiter, NASA says, well, you're so far from the sun would be like a 1/10 of the size that we see it from Earth. It would be it would be very, very small. So you have to believe that if you're on Jupiter, if that small sun, that small, tiny star-sized sun is lighting up Jupiter, and then that light is bouncing off of that non-reflective surface, traveling all the way back to Earth, and you see it as bright as the sun in the sky, I'm sorry, you're not thinking. If you see that, there's a thing called the inverse square law of light. Every time you double the distance to a light, it gets dimmer and dimmer. Even if there wasn't the inverse square law of light, how is it reflecting the sun back to Earth as bright as the sun? Is Jupiter a mirror, right? Is Jupiter a mirror? So when we look up, the only thing that we can say about stars in the sky is that the lights in the sky, stars and planets, is that they're lights. We don't know anything about it. Let me ask you this. Is this the moon, the sun, or a star? Is it a sphere? Right? You don't know. You don't know. But if science told you that this is the sun or the moon, you'd be like, oh yeah, I kind of see it's a sphere. I kind of see, right? But if I move this forward, we can see that it's a train track and it's a train and it's not a sphere. Okay? Everything in the distance, the way our eyes work, everything turns into a sphere in our minds. Okay? So let me show you another one. Where is my, is it? No. This is, where is it? Okay, here we go. So this is a little experiment I did in my room. So I got a blue sheet hanging, and then that's my sky. And I have a square light 10 feet on the other side. Looks round, looks like the sun. It's amazing. It really does look like the sun. And I got Paige is to the left, right? So I'm over here, and I say, Paige, where do you see the sun? And she goes, I see it right there. So I put a little X on the sheet, and I moved over here. She's seeing the sun over there. I'm seeing it over here. We're both seeing a sphere.
You know, light is a weird thing. Like, there are some things in this reality that really aren't 3D. What I mean is, air, for example, smoke, fire, water, and light, they are not 3D in the way that you can't really circle around it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can, but you can never... Like, if you have a physical object that is like a square or whatever it is, you can go around it and see different angles, you know? But with smoke and light and shit like that, doesn't matter if you go around the source. It's still, you can never see another side of it, or, you know, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you can never... Anyways.
This is how we see the lights in the sky. It's nothing like they tell us, all right? So here's the other thing. Stop looking up at the sky where we can't go, we can't measure, we can't verify to prove the shape of the Earth. You can prove it down here. It's right under your feet. We're not moving.
What about people, normal people who have really high-end telescopes and they can look really, really close and it's a circle?
It's not. You go look. I mean, just go look. That's not what they see. They see these pulsing orbs of energy. I mean, when you zoom in to a star or a planet, it's literally a pulsing orb of energy. I'm trying to pull up a quick picture for you. So
Zero Claver.
So here
Follow back.
is.
Follow back? I don't even know who you are, man. What do? Follow back. You look cool with your glasses, though. But that I won't follow you just for looking cool, man. You know what I mean?
Here is.
Zero
Here's what a bunch
Claver.
of stars look like. These are different stars zoomed in. And here's the other thing. If a star is light years away, which is hundreds of trillions and trillions and trillions of miles, how the heck can you zoom in on it and make it bigger? It wouldn't get bigger. with 125 times zoom.
Those things are
right?
weird, man.
I can zoom in on New York City and I can't quite see the windows on the buildings, but I can zoom in on a star and fill the whole lens. That makes no sense. Okay. These stars are pulsing orbs of energy. In the app, on the frequently asked question, what about stars? Lots of videos there. Lots of videos there.
Somebody said
And here-
YouTube. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
YouTube actually put a warning and linked the Wikipedia page stating that this is a disproven theory. Bruh,
Yeah.
even YouTube doesn't support this craziness.
Well, YouTube is owned by Google, and they are trying to protect the control system. And and the fact that they don't tell you how it's an unproven theory, but their number one way is with the old story of Aristophanes from the Greeks, where
Dude, YouTube even puts one of those things under the video, saying whatever it was, like this is misinformation, whatever it is. It's like a fact check or whatever, dictator check or tyranny check, I will call it. They even put one of those under the video of George Bush Sr. in his speech in 1991. He talked about how he was going to have a new world order. Under that video, they had one of those fact-checking things, like the new world order is a bullshit conspiracy. Not bullshit, but the new world order is a conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. It's not true. Under the video of the president talking about the new world order. So get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Who gives a fuck about that shit? That's just... You should look at that. Whenever you see one of those boxes under a YouTube video, you should see that. That should be like a confirmation that whatever you're watching is true. Yeah.
He proved the Earth with his sticks and shadows. Are you guys familiar with the sticks and shadows experiment?
No.
Yes.
Let me explain it to you real quick. So Aristophanes said the Earth, the sun is so far away that the light comes in parallel, right? Because if you're infinite distance away, great distance away, all the light rays will come in parallel. But
yeah, the sun's rays are not coming in parallel to this world. If that was the case, then all of the shadows would be like all in the same angle. You know? Like if it was a big giant fucking straight sun ray that came to this ball, all of the shadows will be in the exact same direction. What a scam.
that's
It's
really
such a
weird
scam, man.
because no one has ever seen parallel rays. We never see parallel rays. We see corpuscular rays. When you look up on a broken cloud day with the sun, you see these rays come in. They're not parallel. But for some reason, Aristophanes apparently thought that the rays come in parallel. Why would he think that? And why would he think that there's an infinitely far sun when back at that time, they believed in a geocentric Earth where the sun was orbiting around the sphere Earth, okay? That you can't have an infinite far sun orbiting a tiny little speck planet, right? So that's problem one. Problem two. But then when you actually look at his experiment, he said, I could see the sun as shadow in the bottom of a well. Therefore, the sun is directly over me. Hey, that's good logic, right? And then he sent his buddy 500 miles away who counted the paces. That's how he knew he was 500 miles away. Great counting. Guy got great attention.
Yeah, I always thought this whole thing like he was here and his buddy was way over there and they somehow managed to speak to each other in those days, where you had cell phones and shit. No, you did not have cell phones. So how could they time this shit in? All right, I'm ready. How do you do this? How do you do this shit? How do you do this experiment?
And somehow Aristophanes, back in 2000 BC, could communicate with him. According to our history, that's not happening. And his buddy saw, they've got the parallel rays coming in. And so there's no shadow here on his stick, and there's a shadow here. And you could do some really good calculus and figure out the circumference of the Earth, assuming you have parallel rays. But the thing is, we don't have parallel rays. On the flat Earth, we have a small local sun. Here's Eratosthenes, no shadow. Here's his buddy, 500 miles away, shadow. And then if you do the same math, you'll find out the sphericity of this flat plane. Math describes whatever you want, whatever, depending on what variables you put in it. So that's not true. And this is a little experiment you can do at home. You know, just get 2 beer cans, 2 bottles, you know, 2 lighters, hold a light over one of them and see there's no shadow, and you'll see a shadow on the other one. Then you could do the same calculus and figure out how spherical your floor is, okay? Math is not reality.
So somebody said, ask them why it's cold at the North Pole, hot at the equator, and cold at the South Pole, and what is the cause? Is the sun shooting multi-temperatures with its rays? Ask them that when it becomes summer, why a south-facing window allows shorter band of sunlight into the room, and ask them that when it's winter, why more sunlight stretches into the room.
Thank you for asking. It's my favorite question. Here we go. Okay. So you have your infinite far sun. You got the rays coming in, and they tell you, you know, we have our winter because we're tilted away and the rays are spread. I don't know why, if the sun is bigger, how come all of those rays don't just hit the earth?
It's because the sun's location just happened to be exactly where the sun's rays are losing steam. You know, they just barely made it to the earth, but you know, that means the rays that are hitting the upper side and the lower side, and also, as Dave said, it should be on the sides as well. You know, nobody ever thought about that, the sides of the ball, right? They're like, okay, so the upper part is going to get colder and the lower part is going to get colder. But what about the sides? And then the scammers, the ball scammers, they came up with shit. We got to do something about the sides, man. You know? They're like, okay, it's like it's fat on the on the sides. It's almost like an NFL football. It's really fat on the sides. Anyways, the rays of the sun that are extremely hot barely made it to the earth. But we managed to just be on the limits of the sun rays. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit story.
Like when you look up at the sun in the summer, and if you tilt your head back 23.4 degrees, does your forehead freeze? I don't think so. Okay. And so we have the rays coming in. So as the earth spins, it should heat up around the point that's facing the earth. But for some reason, it heats up the equator. Look at it on a flat earth. And let me show you how that works. It makes perfect sense on a flat earth. Seasons absolutely prove flat earth. So pay attention, whoever asked that question. Here we go. So here on my app, I'm going to show you. I'll make it a little bigger. Let me make it bigger. I won't be able to point. I'm just going to be able to describe. So here we go. So if we look at this map, the center of the clock is the North Pole, the magnetic North Pole. All compasses point to the north. None point to the south. Interesting. Okay. So we have two yellow lines on there. The inner circle is the Tropic of Cancer. Okay. And the outer circle is the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay. And so on December 21st, let's go on June 21st. Let me jump forward. So on June, the sun moves in and it's over the Tropic of Cancer. That's when the north has its summer because the sun is close. Look at the sun coming around here. It's coming close to Texas, close to the East Coast, so over Miami, right? I'm in July. I went past June, so it's on July already. And that's why we have our summer. But Australia is having their winter because the sun is far away. 6 months later, in December, the sun is all the way out here. Australia, South America, Central Africa are having their summer, and it's far away from us that's why we're having our winter. So now think about this.
That makes way more sense than the bullshit tilting nonsense.
You got to think about this. So let's say the two of us, you come here to Connecticut in February. Bad idea, but you did it anyway. And we're sitting outside. It's freezing cold, ice on the ground, and we're sitting 20 feet apart from each other, right? Because, we want to be safe, right? And and we're freezing.
Social
We're freezing,
distancing.
Right? So then and then
Slave
somebody comes over with a
distancing,
giant
it's called.
lamp and holds it 10 feet directly over your head on a long pole. And you're like, oh, that feels really good. And you look up and you unbutton your coat, you take your coat off, your drink unfreezes. And I'm over, I ask you to point to that and you go, oh, it's up there. It's right up there. And then I say, oh, well, I see it over there because I'm 20 feet away. So I don't see it over my head. I see it over there. I see it lower in the sky for me, farther away. I could barely feel the heat. I'm like, I don't feel the heat. Okay. So that's your summer sun, and that's my winter sun. It's lower in the sky. It's farther away. It's not coming towards me. So now that person walks over to me slowly. Takes them 6 months to get over there. Okay. And they don't lower it or higher. They keep it at the same height, 10 feet. And you watch that sun. You're going to watch it go down, 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 farther and farther. And you're going to get colder and colder. You're going to put your coat back on. I'm going to see it coming towards me, and it's going to get higher and higher and higher. And I'm going to take my coat off, and that's my summer sun.
Exactly. Over here in Sweden, when it's winter, the sun is way over there near the horizon-ish, a little bit higher. Now, when it's starting to get summer, it's fucking up there. I'm literally looking up at that fucker in the summers. And in the winters, it's way over there. Because when it's over my head, it is closer. When it's winter, it's way further away, Like that. So I will see it like that. He's 100% right on this. 100% right on this, man. He is 100% right.
That's how seasons work. The sun migrates in between the two tropics, 6 months in, 6 months out. 6 months in, 6 months out. On the app, the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, if you click the frequently asked questions button, there's a button called Seasons, right? You hit that button, and up will come a whole bunch of videos that Google doesn't want you to see. You can Google all of these by name, and they won't come up. You'll just get Flat Earth debunking videos. Why is that? Why is that? Okay? And the answer is because they don't want you to know, right? They don't want you to know that you have the power, not them. They don't want you to know that your mind manifests your world, okay? They don't want you to know any of this because they will lose control over you. They keep you in fear with the news. They keep you locked in the matrix, which is the heliocentric model, right? It's a ball for your imagination, and you can't think outside of it. But once you understand that, the world may be something completely different. If I go here, what if the world was set up like this? Kind of like that other map I showed you. Here's other lands outside, extraterritorial, extraterrestrials, just from thousands of miles away, not incomprehensible light years, right?
David,
Right?
ever since
Again.
you said that, what do you believe?
Yeah.
Do you, the indoctrination and all that kind of stuff? The truth is really, ever since you came on the show and Gino has told us so many things, and obviously with this crazy time the last 3 years, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't believe anything anymore. I don't.
Same.
That's
Good
great.
on you.
And here's the thing. Don't
Question
believe me.
everything.
Don't believe me. Question everything.
Question
right.
everything, yes.
Right. Don't believe me. I'm just showing you what's been hidden. Go figure it out yourself. I watched all these videos about flat, and I'm like, holy crap, I think the earth is going to be flat, but I'm not going to claim that until I go test it myself. Bought a P900, went out to the beach, zoomed in on things that should be well below the curve. Well below the curve. And I'm like, okay, we can see too far. All right, well, the earth isn't flat. It's just a bigger ball. So then we started citing things that we can actually check their distance and, how much should be hidden. And we're like, for that ship that we're seeing, underestimating its distance, just giving the ball every benefit of the doubt, the earth should be 1,000 times bigger than they tell us, right? If the earth is a ball 1,000 times bigger, that's still a problem, okay? Right? You heard that just the other day, they found 7,000 new islands in Japan.
I didn't hear that. What?
We don't know anything about what's going on here. Anything.
Right.
Right?
No, we don't know anything, and I don't
Google
believe
that.
anything.
We're
Google that.
slaves, Neo.
Question.
Go ahead.
Debbie Brown.
So we can't
Slaves.
use-
Hiya.
if we can't use
Debbie
What's up,
Brown.
Debbie Brown?
How you doing?
Doing good. Watching the truth about our reality, Debbie Brown, over there in Kik. By the way, I'm very new to Kik. Just got it a couple of days ago. I don't know what the fuck Kik is.
Debbie
but,
Brown. Do you tend to use any art stuff for your stream like emotes, overlay, etc.?
What do you mean? Like from the chatter's point of view or what? I'm not that into, I don't know that much about emojis or shit like that. You gotta fill me in on stuff like that. I do know
Debbie Brown.
some stuff.
Wanna see some I made?
Okay, how do I do that? Like, is it something you use for chats or what? Emojis. Emoji.
use Google. You're telling someone that's totally
Debbie Brown.
unbiased. They're like, I don't know which
What's
way to
your
look,
Twitter?
right or
I'll
left.
DM you my portfolio.
Okay, it's not politics.
Okay, you're serious about this shit. Well, my Twitter is, you see it up there, at Vince
Debbie
Reacts.
Brown. You can have a look at them to understand better.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in learning new things. But it's at Vince Reacts. You see that?
Politics, but right or left on the globe or the flat Earth. They can't use Google. They can't
Yep.
use Scholastic
use NASA.
Education. They can't use your information. Where do they go?
Well, you can go out and do it yourself, man. Measure yourself. We have again, we've done the work for you. We've put it on videos. We've put it online. It's still online. Thank God. Thank Google. I got to tell you, we're using their products to get the information out. You won't find it on your own, but
Debbie
if you
Brown.
hit the web button.
All right, I
and scroll
followed you.
down-
Can you follow back so I can DM?
On Twitter?
Debbie Brown. Yeah.
What is your name? Oh, yeah. Okay, there. Yeah, now I'm following you. Oh. Listen, are you one of those pronouns people? Hey, do you want to jump on this stream at some point? Because I'm not one of those pronoun people, just saying. Not saying that I can't speak to people who are pronouns. I love speaking to people who are different than me. You know what I mean? I would
Debbie
love
Brown.
to know what.
So I
Yeah.
DM you my portfolio.
Okay, what the fuck is this? Okay, what is this? VTubers models. Oh, that's cool. Are you like artist? Like you're drawing stuff? That's cool. What do you do? Do you use them in video games or what? Like, I don't understand. What is this for? Overlays, I know what it is. Like if you're doing streams, right? Like gaming streams and stuff. That's cool. Logos and banners. Yeah, all this looks like Twitch stuff, you know? This is the things you see on Twitch. Looking good. A lot of cartoony things. Oh, this is emotes. What is emotes? Twitch emotes.
Debbie Brown. So VTuber is basically a model that will follow your directions. Instead of showing yourself, they will act as you and they can be customized as well.
VTubers. Oh, okay. Is this like I've seen on some streams that people are using like a virtual reality model or something instead of their own face? Is that what you're saying? What this is? Like, for example, I would be using this character instead of my own face on a stream, right? Yeah, instead
Debbie
of showing
Brown.
yourself.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. So these are like 3D models, kinda. This is images of a 3D model. Yeah. So why do people do that though? Is it just because they don't wanna show their own face, right? They don't want to put themselves out there or what? Yeah, cool stuff.
Debbie Brown. Yeah, they can be 3D and 2D as well.
Cool. Hey, you're good at what you're doing. You know, I don't use stuff like that. I just use these things, whatever I'm doing here. You know what I mean? But that's cool. Cool stuff.
Down to experiments right here, right? Here's a whole bunch of experiments that I've done for you. Go out and do them yourself, but let us show you how we did them. Let us show you how we documented them. Let us show you the military
Debbie Brown.
whistleblowers that talk about it.
You can
Let
get
us
a
show you
logo banner.
how-
Debbie Brown. If you want.
A logo banner. I don't know. What, you want to do one for me or what?
We took a mirror.
Even though I'm not a pronoun, people. That's incredible. I thought people who are into pronouns, they don't want to talk to nobody that is not into pronouns. I don't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Put it on the beach and reflected the sun to somebody that should not, there should have been, I forget how much, 100 feet, 200 feet of curve between them. Okay. There should have been, I think one of them was like 80 feet. 80 feet. That's an 8-story building, right? If you were on one side of an 8-story building and I'm on the other, do you think I could signal
Debbie
you with
Brown.
a mirror? No.
I'm just
Okay.
a girl, lol.
I'm just a girl. Yeah, but I just saw, I'm a she, her. Of course, if you're a girl, you're a girl. You know what I mean? And I'm a man, I'm a man. You know what I mean? And why do I sound like Italian when I say that? Man, a man, a woman. I just can't with those things. You know what I mean? Everybody got their own little thing. Zim, zam, zam, dem, din, dam. There is no way I can just play along with that shit. If you look like a woman, I will call you her. And then, if I get to know you, if you want another name, maybe, yes, But I'm not making life more complicated. You know what I mean?
Debbie Brown. So I'll share the prices on Twitter. If you interested, do let me know.
All right, do that, Debbie Brown. Cool stuff.
But it should be over there. There's tons of these experiments. We've done them for you. Check them out and then go do one yourself.
Somebody said it's interesting that they question the photos of Earth taken from space, yet to this day, they have yet themselves have zero photographic evidence backing their claim.
Well, that's absolutely not true. We have tons of evidence, but you can't take a picture of the flat Earth. We can't get up high enough. There's no way. I mean, we can get up to 120,000 feet is where balloons max out. Here is a, where is it? So this is, look how high this is. Look how friggin' high this is. This is 120,000 feet. So check this out. The state of Kansas is just over 400 miles wide. Do you know how much curvature there is? If you're on the one side of Kansas and you drove to the other, okay? You're driving, you're on one side of Kansas. Let's say you're at the top of the ball. You have to drive down the ball, okay? The other side is 20 miles of curvature. This is 20 miles. This balloon is 20 miles high. So in Kansas, there's a hump that goes this high into the sky from one end to the other. You can't even wrap your mind around that concept because it's ridiculous, right? Not you, everybody. Okay, I'm not picking on anybody because it's all nonsensical. And this is how.
And again, I said this before with the train rails. You know, how do you do this with train rails? How do you know? You know, with the curvature. You know, eventually you will have to do something, right? With the train rails. You know, to fit the curve in some way, right? How do you know where you're at? You know what I mean? On the ball. Like, oh, okay, I'm on the... It will start curving now, so we should do the railway a little bit like this from here. And then it goes a little bit straight, and then we're going to do a little bit curvature, and, you know... And also, with those speed trains... You know, that goes like super fast. How will that work? Will the train just fly out of its rails? It's bullshit, man. It's bullshit. The ball is bullshit.
The numbers are so big, the distances are so far, and the calculations are beyond your ability. So you just go, I just have to trust the lying guy in the bow tie. Okay? And it's all nonsense. It's pseudoscience.
It is.
Man, that's crazy. I remember in elementary school when they were teaching about the science and history, and I remember them saying how Columbus discovered America, and that's kind of how, you know, they realized that the earth was round, and that apparently people believed that the earth was flat, you know, years and years, long time ago, and that they're in different tribes.
Maybe back then, that was how they described a circular world. They're like, the earth is round, you know? It's round, man.
And all across the world, that there's still like ancient tribes, like there's still like carvings and stuff of, you know, a flat earth. And they
So,
and I was
yeah, go ahead, finish.
and I
I'm
was gonna
sorry.
say it's kind of like a spiritual thing, like, you know, back then, like how like you would give to the earth and it would give back, and then nowadays you know, all that spirituality is just kind of canceled, and I feel a lot of
Right.
satanic is upon us, and I feel that, you know, it's all kind of linked together.
It is all linked together. You know, the globe lie is the satanic lie. There are so many. There's a list of
That shit is
666s in the mathematics of the globe and the planets. It's unbelievable. You know, like if one thing, oh, you know, the tilt of the Earth is 66.6 degrees. All right, that's interesting. There's 100 of them. Okay, it's like, what the heck is going on here? This is, you know, supposedly built before power tools and cranes and everything. I mean, there is a civilization here just 150, 200 years ago, beyond what anyone can imagine, okay? And they're lying about all of it. And when on the app, if you go to, you hit the web button and you scroll down to Lost History right here, tons of videos. Careful, if you click that button, bring food and water, call in sick to work, because you're not going anywhere, right? There's
my
tons.
I need to check
tons
that
of
out,
information.
Tartaria.
I want to make a plug here for something that's coming up on March 17th and 18th, which is probably in a couple days from when this airs. We're having our second summit, right? It's called the True Earth Mount Meru Summit. This year, it's called the Equinox Summit. And it's 2 days of amazing speakers, all coming from a flat Earth perspective. It's going to be a great show. You can go to temms.live. You're not going to remember that. I'm going to give you an easier website to remember. Check it out. And it's a full day, Friday and Saturday. And if you can't watch the whole thing, it's all right. You have access to it forever, so you can go back and watch it again or watch what you missed. It's going to be amazing. You can interact. It's an amazing place. I challenge, there's nobody that can watch the conference, join in the chat, and can walk away a globe earther. Absolutely not. you can find everything. You can find my app. You can find ways to book me on your show. You can find the summit. You can find the book, Emergency Landings. You can find the crash course. You can find tons of resources. Everything is at flatearthdave.com. That's the only website you need. Flatearthdave.com. And check it out. Come to the summit. All right, it's $50, which these summits cost $200, $300, $400, $500. This is $50.
Where is it at?
Okay, it's online. It's virtual.
Online.
You're on. It's on.
Okay.
It's on. It's online, and you watch it online, and you can interact in the chat. And the VIPs will be in a Zoom call for the question and answer. I'll be on the question and answer. I think Friday night with some great guys. There's comedy. There's music. It's really a fun weekend, and there's no way you can walk away. If you're a flat earther already, you definitely want to go. If you're like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Trust me, this changes your life. Most people, when they seriously engage you in a globe versus flat conversation, and you say, okay, seasons, boom, I bust seasons. Hey, sunsets, we can talk about that if you want. I bust sunsets, right? We go all the things. If they're intelligent, they'll throw up their hands and they'll go, why the lie? And the lie, why the lie? I still have to go to work on Monday. That's a pre-programmed response that everybody says. Mm-hmm. I still have to go to work on Monday. I said the same thing. Well, guess what? I don't do this for the money, but I don't have to go to work on Monday. Okay. I had my own company. I was doing super well. But now I'm talking to people like you, spreading this word. And I can't even read all the emails I get of people going, I thought you were crazy. I finally looked. I saw your interview here. I saw you on whatever. I'm going to be on the James English show tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern. It's pre-recorded, but it's a live premiere. Anybody listening? Oh, that's actually too late. This is airing after.
But they can go watch the recorded.
Yeah, you can watch it. But on the app, and also on the app, there's links to the summit, so you can find it. But on the app, if you click the web button, right here are all my interviews. When this one comes out, it'll be on the app. It'll be on the top of the list, right? You click that button, up come interviews that they don't want you to see, right? And I've got close to 1,000 of them in here.
So
right?
I have to tell you that as many people that are critical and said some of these comments, which there are more, there's also many that are agreeing with you. I want to make sure that is said. And I thought it'd be really fun if we end this show and we add up all the points for how hardcore of a truther you are. Do you mind if we do that real quick? I'll read the questions. And you guys,
oh yeah, there's a part 2 to this.
Each answer that you think
Are we
is
going to
true.
all add up our points?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Climate change is a hoax.
YouTube friendly.
And we're saying true or
I have to be
false?
YouTube friendly.
If you believe it,
Wait, is that like the
You mean man-made climate change is a hoax?
sorry, is that when they say like global warming or something? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a
Oh,
flag, red flag.
Yes. Gotcha.
1,000%.
dinosaurs are a hoax.
1,000%. Absolutely.
The dinosaurs are a
Dinosaurs.
hoax.
The Earth is
Dinosaur-
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the dinosaurs. I have no idea.
If you go to stoplookthink.com, go to the dinosaurs tab under hoaxes. There's tons of videos there. The first guy, so in all of history, the pyramids, all of the ancient civilizations that I was showing you, no one had ever found a dinosaur bone. In the 1800s, some royal guy writes a paper saying that theorizing the idea of dinosaurs. No one has ever found a single dinosaur toenail. Okay, nothing, right? And a year later to the day, he discovers the first dinosaur. Okay, what? And then all of the time since then, all the dinosaurs that have been found, no one's ever found a head. No one's ever found a full skeleton, nothing. All the dinosaur bones in all the museums are made in China out of chicken bones, okay? None of it is real. The real bones are too radioactive, right? They find a whale bone, the spine, a vertebrae bone on the top of a mountain. They say it's a dinosaur. Well, top of the mountain, what does that mean? How did it get there? Well, there was a great flood. So all of it is speculation. I challenge you, go get a Stegosaurus doll, 2 of them, and tell me how they mated.
Okay. Number 3, the Earth is flat and motionless.
100,000%.
Obviously.
4, vaccines are harmful.
No, hold
Don't
on.
talk
We
about
too
that.
friendly. So let's just say infection by injection.
Ah.
All right, there's a part 2 for this, but I'm gonna have to do it later on. But these are great. Now we're gonna exit the way we came in, man.
Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. Trans people belong here. We need trans people. We love trans people. You matter. You matter. And I am fighting for you. And I will not stop. I will not stop today. I will not stop tomorrow. You are loved. You matter. You belong here.